Right guys, where are we? Halfway through July. We're just going into August in the next couple of weeks. Now we're into the main period of summer, you know, that thing which we occasionally see. I want to talk to you about disease pressure and how it starts to build and how it starts to increase through the summer and into late summer, and just show you a few things about it along the way. Now, for the past few weeks, we've already had people telling us that they're getting these patches on the lawn. Okay, that's actually new turf along that edge. I want to take you around the back. So we come to the back. We actually renovated this a couple of years ago, and we brought, I think it was a couple of ton of soil in down these steps that was piled up at the side there, and it was sloping down, and we actually raised it all up. And this right hand edge here was probably, I don't know, 8 inches below, so we raised that up, and then we reseeded all of this, and then overseeded that and overseeded that. And just at the end you can see the stripy bit is where the customers just laid some new turf in the last couple of months. So it's all coming together, and at a later point they may have some turf down the bottom, but we'll get to that. So let's talk about disease and how it builds. So it's mainly caused by humidity or low fertility, okay? So often when you put some fertilizer on, you are raising the fertility, and often that can then minimise or reduce the amount of red thread and certain other diseases that you can get into the lawn. Now, red thread or pink patch is one of the most common ones that people get in the lawn. And you can see here quite clearly it's got a pinkish tinge, which it starts off as pink patch. And when we get some strong areas, we may see some red needles contained. In fact, yes, I can see some just there. Okay, and in severe cases you'll see some little, what looks like cotton wool balls. It's called mycelium, and you'll see that when it's a really strong case of red thread. So we haven't scarified this since it was renovated, and that's a couple of years now, and as I'm walking on it, it feels spongy. It feels spongy under your feet. So that means that there's a layer of thatch which has built up over the last 2 years, and that's just dead grass which has just died and laid flat, but it's just sat there like a thatched roof on top of the soil. And what does a thatched roof do? It stops aerating and nutrients. Well, a thatched roof doesn't stop that, but a thatched roof stops rain from getting through to the house. Thatch on top of the soil surface slows down the rate of air, rain and nutrients that can get into the soil. This is why you should scarify once or twice a year. But also, verticutting, aka grooming, is like one of the most gentlest forms of scarifying, if you can even call it. And it's just scratching into what is above the soil. You don't want to be going into the soil with a verticutter or groomer cartridge, but just going into it. And that creates little grooves which allows the air to flow through, and that air flowing through helps to blow away the morning dew. Now let's talk about morning dew. I don't know how well you'll see this, but I can see them with the eye pretty easy. I'm trying to get it without the shadow. Just put my finger there. You see? Let's try from a different angle. Okay. It looks like a spider's web. That is the morning dew But that wetness is what helps lead to and encourage disease. So that will sit on those blades of grass and it's hot and wet and sticky, okay? And that is what leads to disease, a hot, sticky, wet environment. So it's really important that everything you've done to date has been done, like scarifying and aeration. We're allowing air to get down to the roots. Aeration relieves compaction. It also deals with thatch that's below the surface, subsurface thatch. And subsurface thatch needs thinning out just as much as surface thatch. That is why we aerate. It relieves and takes some of that out. All improves drainage, improves airflow, allows everything to drain through so the water's just not sat there on a wet clay environment, because when the water is sat there and it gets warm and hot, we get the patches. And that is, in a nutshell, roughly what disease is in your lawn. And they talk about disease pressure and the pressure of disease building through the year. So, what you got to do? Scarify or groom. If you're doing it regular, groom every 2 or 3, 4 weeks, something like that. Scarify a couple of times a year to keep that thatch down. Make sure you're aerating. If you get a bout of patchiness and it looks like pink patch, which then leads to red thread, you can put a high dose of nitrogen on, but don't do it if your lawn is really brown and drought stressed. It's really important. You want your lawn to be thriving. So this is where you've got to do it right. You've got to water in the mornings and not so much in the evenings. The morning is the best, completely without a doubt. The morning is the best time, nice and early, before the sun really comes up and starts to get warm. But you can water in the day, but you are losing some to evaporation. But the main point is you're getting some water in. Now I've got some rain gauges which I'm going to be showing in a future video, and I've now got a verticutter which I'm going to be showing in a future video. So there's this video, and there's another video coming out with something brand new which you're going to really like. But after that, so in the next 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to see the verticutter. And I've been waiting for one of these for a few years, but now my lawn is nice and thick. It needs to be done. There is some disease showing up. So watch out for that one. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'm here to help you with your lawn. Simple. Just pop your questions down. I'll do my best to help. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, because there's several thousand people in there now and we all help one another. I go in there as often as I can. Sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's a bit longer. It's when I get a chance to pop in, but I do pop in from time to time. And that is how you avoid getting lawns which are going brown and patchy and they're not lush, dark and green. Have an amazing day.